Now we have a tribute to Robbie Burns by Millie Gurdon.
There's a little clay cottage near the River Doon in Alloway, Scotland. The cottage was built by William Burns, a home for himself and his wife, Agnes Brown. Their first child was a son, Robert, born on January 25th, 1759. This child was destined to become one of Scotland's most beloved sons. From a humble birth in that clay cottage, Robbie Burns was to rise to become Scotland's national bard. His parents were tenant farmers, poor but honest and God-fearing. Robert had little formal education, but was encouraged by his father to read every book available. At an early age, he had to help his father on the farm, and he remained a farmer for most of his life. And here I might add that a lot of his songs and later things that he had written were from stories told to him by a lady who lived in the home with him, Betty Davidson, and I know there's some Davidsons here tonight. It may have been this hard way of life that taught Burns to take joy in fleeting pleasure. He saw the world without any illusions. He had a great capacity for love and fellowship with the common things in life. And this provided him with many of the themes for his poetry. To a Mouse was written when he accidentally turned over a mouse's nest while plowing. And he wrote, "The best laid plans o' mice and men gang after glee." In 1786, Burns decided to move to Jamaica because of setback in farming and an unhappy love affair. The success of his first book of poems, the Kilmarnock edition, caused him to change his mind. In 1788, Burns married Jean Armour and established his own home. His literary achievements helped him to get an appointment as a tax and customs agent. This position provided him with a steady income to support his family and more time to write poetry. He led a carefree way of life. In one poem he wrote, "I live today as well as I may, regardless of tomorrow." He considered himself only an obscure Scottish peasant who loved to write rhymes. How could he have risen to a place where he would be remembered worldwide, wherever Scots are? Perhaps because deep within us all, we can identify with the down-to-earth qualities of that man. His love for his country, fun and frolic, lack of hypocrisy, his deep respect for religion that had early been instilled in him by his father, and his appreciation of the simple things in life. These quotations from his poems would be a lesson for anyone. When on life we're tempest-tossed, a conscience but a canker, a correspondence fixed with heaven is sure a noble anchor. And deep this truth impressed my mind through all his works abroad, the heart, benevolent and kind, the most resembles God. In 1784, Robbie Burns became a Freemason, and he was to remain an enthusiastic member until his death. He once wrote, "Nay man can tether time or tide," so the years passed on, and Burns continued to write poems and songs. His songs were his greatest delight, and his talent contributed much to Scottish history. Burns' health had been failing for some time, and in 1796 he wrote, "The wan moon is setting across the dark ocean, and time is setting for me." Following a short illness, he died July 21st, 1796, aged 37.5 years. Tonight, we gather here at Burns Hall to honor the memory of our Scottish poet.
There was a lad, and my love, she's my lassie yet. The next item, Kate LaFrance is going to read a poem that she composed. It won first prize in a contest held last year by the Brunswick Scottish Cultural Association, titled The Scottish Settlers.
The dock was crowded. People said their goodbyes, waiting with families, the tears in their eyes. They were sailing for Canada, a wild new place, with iron will and courage shown in each face. Sea crossing in April, and when they reached land, possessions and money, belongings in hand, they looked all around, but no houses they saw, no fences, no farmland, no village, no law. Though promised cleared land and log houses too, they found only forest and much work to do. They found rocky soil, the hardest to farm, but they found their new home held its own savage charm. Some would have gone, but these settlers did not. They faced the new challenge, these brave Highland Scots. They tilled between stumps and found the scarce loam, and soon made a place that they could call home. They started traditions that live on here still, oatcakes and porridge and the kirk on the hill. Dancing at Burns night, their bannocks and scones, church Sunday morning, the pipes' skirling tones. They gave us their stories of the happy and sad, of the work that they did and the fun that they had. The Cayleys and Barnbys and worked till moonrise, the bad times and good times, the lows and the highs. 12 decades later, here on this land, I live in the manse that they built with their hands. If not for their courage, I wouldn't be here. So for all those brave settlers, let's give a big cheer. Woo!
Next item is Sarah and Kathleen Farquhar and Sing the Hero. Next, we have Holly Farquhar with The Flowers of Edinburgh and Miss McLeod Tree. is a short play called The Minister's Mistake. It's put on by Kate Marjorie and LaFrance with Melody Mathis. And it seems that the minister went to a house to visit a woman whose husband had just died, except he went to the wrong house. He went to one that had just lost her dog.
There now, I guess everything is all slicked up and apple pie ordered. Let me see, did I dust this chair? I think I did. Yeah, I did. I hope someone will come to call now that I have things so thick and thin. Oh, there's someone now. I wonder if my hair is all right. Here he. Come in. We wanted this. You won't be needing it anymore. Thank you.
Is this Mrs. Brain's residence?
Yes?
Is she at home?
That depends. Are you a salesman?
I am not a salesman. I am a minister.
Well, if you were a salesman, she wouldn't be at home because she can't stand salesmen and that sort of person.
I'm not a salesman, and I am not riffraff. I'm Mrs. Brain's minister, and I have come to call on her socially.
Well, I'll go and tell her you're here. I just remembered she is at home after all.
Just take a seat. I sure wish this visit were over. I have to meet lots of new people here in my new congregation, but this one's in mourning. She'll be in need of sympathy and consolation. Aw.
Mrs. Brain will be down in a few minutes. Can I get you anything? You look kind of peaked. A jar of brandy, perhaps? It's good for what ails you. My Aunt Ruby swears by it. She said my great-grandpa had a little bit every day. She's 109.
Yes. No, thank you. Wait a minute. What will my parishioners think? Oh, no. I better not. Thanks anyway. I just don't know what I'm going to say to that poor woman. If she starts crying, I just know I will too. And that wouldn't console her, that's for sure.
Good afternoon, Reverend Belmont, is it not? Yes. Oh, it's a pleasure to have your call. Please, thank you.
I'm very eager to get acquainted with everyone in my new congregation.
Congregation. Oh, yes, yes. I must get out to church more often. Perhaps next Sunday. You see, I've been kind of busy lately. I've had relatives visiting from, Moose Jaw and,
no need to explain, Mrs. Brain. I understand perfectly. Now, I was very sorry to hear about the recent death in your family.
Oh, you've heard about Brutus, have you? Oh, it was quite a loss. And I'm going to have to start looking around for another one to replace him.
Yes, I suppose so. She seems to be holding up well, wouldn't you say, since her husband had just died?
Of course, I missed the little tyke. He's getting rather old, though. Oh, his teeth were nearly ground down to the stomach. Oh, he was also getting kind of hard to get along with. Kind of mean at times. Well, I guess it's really a relief that he's gone. It's better for the both of us.
Had you walked life's highway for many years together?
Well, I got him in California settlement about 15 years ago. Oh, I guess for the last few years, we didn't walk together very much. He was too old and stiff. I just couldn't keep up.
Now, where I come from, Dopetown, people never seem to be this heartless. Don't you miss him at all?
Oh, yes, Reverend, of course I do. Oh, when I first got him, he didn't know a thing. I taught him an awful lot. Did you know used to beg for his food. Could you imagine? Oh, I set him straight. But I missed the poor little tyke.
We must all come to terms with grief at some point in our lives. Here's a little poem written for such occasions. How blessed the righteous when he died, when sinks a weary soul to rest, how mildly beam the closing eyes, how gently heaves the quaking breast.
Right, yes. Of course, Brutus didn't have a soul. Never gone to heaven, but I'm sure he's in a nice place anyway.
My dear Mrs. Brain, you must leave such decisions to Providence. The man must have been an axe murderer for her to feel like that about him, or she was. I wonder how he died. Was he sick long before he died?
Oh, now let me think. He must have been, he was sick for about 6 months or so before he passed away. For the last little while, I let him sleep on a blanket behind the kitchen stove. On the colder nights, I even put a blanket over him.
Behind the stove, you say? Why in the name of time didn't he sleep in a bed?
Good heavens, Reverend, Brutus wouldn't think of sleeping in a bed. Oh, matter of fact, for the first 10 years I had him, he slept out on the porch. He would do the funniest things when people walked by, like running down the walk and rolling over and over.
That must have been quite amusing. The old boy must have been a circus performer in his youth.
Oh, he would get in trouble, though. I sometimes had to shut him in the barn when he got too many shenanigans.
You can't be serious.
Oh, yes, indeed, Reverend. Oh, but I miss him. You know what? I think I might go out this afternoon and try to find myself another one. One needs someone to talk to. You know, I buried Brutus out there in the field just over there, and every time I look out, I think, I should go get another one.
He's not even in a graveyard? You didn't even have a ceremony?
Why, no, Reverend, not for him.
Why, my dear Mrs. Brain, I call that just plain wicked in this civilized country.
Reverend, have you lost control of your senses? Whatever are you talking about?
That was an awful way to treat your husband. Why are you treating him just like a dog? I
My
wouldn't mind calling
husband?
the police.
Oh, Brutus was my dog.
Well, aren't you Mrs. Brain, whose husband just died?
Why, good heavens, no, Reverend. My husband is very much alive. Matter of fact, he's the high school principal here in town, Mr. Brain. And, well, oh, I'm Miss Claire Brain. You have gotten me mixed up with Miss Ellen Brain. She lives just down the road.
Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Maybe I'll have some of that brandy after all.
Next, we have Janelle Clark and LaFrance singing the Bluebells of Scotch.
Back up.
case to Pelton Road. Next, we have Kate LaFrance. She will play Kate's Kilt, the theme tune that she wrote. The second tune that she will play is Kate Hutchinson, Johnny Roman's Fifth. Next is the surprise of the evening. This is a play with Billy Gervin and David Smith. Always come in and see what's going to take place. While they're getting ready, I have a Brunswick poem that was written by Louis Paul, and it's a blind poem. Look here, a poem. The tie that's given folks to bind brings precious memories to their mind of happy days when hearts were light and friends would meet on Brunswick. The old schoolhouse would scarcely hold the folks that gathered, young and old. Before Dr. Pringle took the chair, there'd scarcely be a seat to spare, and each one came to do his part. And with this song, the night would start. The song which all the Scots enjoy, that wrote them, was a ranting boy, who wrote so many songs and poems about memories of their Scottish homes. But Bonnie Doon and Prince of Ayr, and so many of them have been there. And so the night starts off right strong, with music, poem, and Scottish song. Like Highland Mary, Duncan Gray, Rise Up and Be Our Northern Name. First, Annie Laurie made a song by Willie Lowe in Scottish tongue. Love, and Caesar, Willie Patterson reads to us with pleasure, while his brother Andrew plays a bar in the tune they call it Raise a Barn. Or else he plays some lively reel, puts life for dancing in the heel. And before his fiddle stops to ring, Joel Cummings does the Highland Queen. With loud applause, then comes a hush. John Drum, he sings the Briar Bush. Next, Willie Watt says Tam Shepherd, half pray the tune, O air of night in Canada. Next one that sings, it is J.B., a fishwife from this side of Dee, a shilling or twa, which is so grand, and when Andy shakes the devil's hand. Jim Clark, he sings Laird of Cogpin, whose wife, she is like a fat trapped hen. And now, the Cotter's Saturday night, my father reads with great delight. The Corn Race by Mackie's son, which is enjoyed by old and young. The address to the deal by Uncle Jim. This is the one suited him. Then Little Jock by David Lowe. I still can hear. I still can think I hear him now. And how the young folks do their bit, their voices, please don't forget. And there is much I cannot tell. I didn't think you would yourself. For such a night of fun and glee, it was hard to stop to have your tea. The time and tide, how fast it goes. The time has come, and we must close. We rise and take our neighbor's hand, and sing all lang syne, that song so grand. For Burns night, like all things end, but that is not the way with friends. Your friends are always in your mind. That is the tide you must be behind. For though your friends are dead and gone, the memory of them still lives on. And like the Cotter's Saturday night, the man that sought the Lord aright, where no one ever sought in vain, we live and hope to live again. For someday on that golden shore, true friends will meet and part no more.
Because I'm watching my weight. I'm thinking of going to Weight Watchers. Yeah. Now, if you mention it, I would say put on the powder show or whatever they call them nowadays. Well, it's all my good Christmas cooking, you know.
Oh, yes, I suppose.
But, you know, I think I called the Weight Watchers and I asked them what I should wear to the Weight Watchers. I didn't know whether I had to dress up or what. And they told me to wear loose-fitting clothes. Well, if I had anything loose-fitting, I wouldn't have to go there.
Oh, see, now you have to go anyway. Weight Watchers, all you do is go there weight, they tell you how much you gain. I've got a set of scales, you come and visit me any day, and I'll tell you how much you weigh and how fat you look.
Well, now that might be an idea. You know, Myrtle did something about her weight.
She did? What'd she do?
Well, she just stopped getting on the scales and stopped looking in the mirror.
That's the kind of Weight Watchers I like to hear about.
Well, me too. Oh, by the way, how have you been feeling lately? I haven't seen you for a long time.
Well, fine, I'll say. Of course, I got a little bit of rheumatism in my hands, rheumatism in my feet, having stomach problems a bit. And I don't know, I can't see nor hear so good anymore. But, I've got a terrible cough too. But what do you expect from an old bag of bones like me?
Well, maybe you should go see a doctor.
See a doctor? What for? To get some more pills? Look at that. There's pills for my heart, pills for my liver, pills for my stomach. I don't know what them's for, maybe for my gizzard.
And what's this, Nellie?
Oh, put that! Put it back. That's the best medicine of all, and I prescribed it for myself. Just a little nip or two of that now and then makes me feel real good. And I think it helps my cough, too.
Well, maybe so. Maybe a little of that. You know, it might keep you from having to go to the hospital. And because you went to the hospital, you might kick the bucket.
The bucket? Are you telling me that they still have buckets that don't have modern plumbing?
Of course they have modern plumbing. But what I meant is, you know, it might keep you from dying.
Oh, well, I wish you'd say what you mean for now, once or twice.
Well, you know, talk about dying. Did you hear about Bob LaFrance?
He didn't die.
Oh, no. But you know, he's always wanted to be a politician.
Oh, yes, everybody knows that.
Yeah, well, last month, he was listening to the radio, and he heard that an MLA down the southern part of the province or somewhere died. So he went right to the telephone and called the premier.
Well, I suppose he wanted to offer his sympathy.
Oh, no. He asked the premier if he could take that politician's job. And you know what? The premier was quite surprised. And he said, well, you want to take his place? But you'll have to see the undertaker. And if it's all right for the undertaker for you to go and take his place, well, I guess it's all right with me. Bob's never mentioned being a politician since.
No, I didn't think he would. Speaking of dying, did you know that Carl and Phyllis Fair had that little pet canary? And it died?
Oh, no.
They were so fond of that. Carl went to the United Church minister and he asked him if he could bury it in the cemetery.
Oh.
And the minister said, a bird, of course not. Well, Carl didn't stop at that. He went to the Baptist minister.
Yeah.
And he said, could I bury an old bird in a cemetery? He didn't tell him it was a canary.
Yeah.
And the minister said, well, yes, for $1,000. He did. And the United Church minister said, if I had known he was going to give us $1,000 to bury the old bird, I would have buried it in our churchyard.
I bet he would have. No, money talks, you know. And, talk about talking. You know that Kathleen, Garth and Jackie's little one, she's quite a chatterbox.
That's what her grandmother tells me.
Well, you know, and she picked up quite a vocabulary of cuss words.
Oh, did she hear that?
Well, that's what they asked her. And she said, well, that's what she learned at school. And Garth sat right down, he wrote the teacher. And he said, if all you can teach Kathleen is learning how to swear, well, we're going to keep her home and we're going to teach her ourselves how to swear.
And I bet that solved the problem.
Well, I imagine it did.
And speaking of problems, I've had a few problems myself. The other day I went to see about a facelift.
Oh, that's a good idea. When are you going to have it done?
I'm not.
You're not? Why not? You certainly could choose one.
Well, when they told me that I looked 10 years younger if I had a facelift, I changed my mind.
Oh, whatever for? I'd like to look 10 years younger.
Not me. If I looked 10 years younger than I do now, I'd lose my pension.
Well, then I don't blame you for not doing that.
Well, did you hear that Jerry took his dog to the vet the other day?
He did? Oh, what was the matter with it? I hope it wasn't rabies or anything like that.
No, he took to get his tail cut off.
His tail cut off? Whatever for?
Well, his mother-in-law was coming to visit, and he said he didn't want the dog wagging his tail or any other sign of welcome.
Well, mothers-in-law aren't that bad.
I don't think so either. Did you hear that Norma's been sick lately?
Yes, I heard she wasn't feeling very well, and Nathaniel wanted to cheer her up.
Oh, that is like talk to the boy.
Well, yes, but you see, he's been learning to play the bugle. And he told his mother he'd like to play a piece for her, and it was a piece that he knew the best, and he had learned it. So she said, sure, she'd like him to play it. And you know what it was? It was The Last Post.
Oh, not a very appropriate thing for a sick person.
Well, no, I guess it wouldn't be.
But speaking of music, you know Isabel and Winston.
Oh, yes, they're quite musical.
Well, I don't know. Now, when Isabel tells me Winston's getting awful grumpy in his old age, it's hard to stand him.
Oh, that's it. I always thought he was quite good-natured.
No, she says he's so grumpy in the morning, it's pathetic. The other morning he came down and she asked him what he wanted for breakfast. And he said, 2 eggs,
Well,
one
what's
boiled, one fried.
Oh, what's the matter with that? That's not being grumpy.
Yeah, she cooked the eggs. He looked them over and said, you fried the wrong one.
You know, you just never know about men. Carl Ross came down home the other day, and he was telling me he doesn't know what he's going to do with Bertolini. Well, he said she's always wanting money. He said Monday she asked him for $125. Tuesday she asked him for $100. And then the next day she asked him for $75.
What on earth is she doing with all the money?
Well, that's what I asked Carl. He said he didn't know because he hadn't given her any.
Speaking of money, it reminds me, we really should be a little bit more like Arthur. He's trying to watch his pennies, the same as we all should be.
That's right.
He was looking around for a door for his car, and he thought to himself, now the cheapest place to get that would be at Richard's.
Well, yes, I would think so. Darlene told me he was going out there to look at one.
Yeah, he went out, and Richard said yes, he had one, it'd be $50. And Arthur said, that's too much.
That isn't too much. What is for a car door? Of course, I
Well-
don't know.
Arthur said I can get one from Bill for $25.
Oh,
And,
well, that would be a good buy.
well, Richard said, if you can get one from Bill, go and get it. Well, Arthur said, yeah, but he doesn't have any now. Well, Richard said, that's good enough. If I didn't have any, maybe they'd be $25 too. But I don't have any, and I'll let you have one for $25, so that's what Arthur's going to do.
Never want your money, that's for sure. I just don't quite understand that, though, but, oh, well, there's a lot of things I don't understand.
Well, we do have to watch our pennies, Mavis, you know that.
I know.
It's not quite as bad as it was when you and I were young in the 30s, but it's bad now.
Well, I know, I kind of remember the 30s. Money was pretty scarce, and I guess when Lloyd and Kathleen got married, money was really scarce then, too.
Yeah.
That was 61 years ago, you know.
Honest?
Yeah.
Well, you know, in those days when you got married, you didn't have any money. You usually gave the minister some wood or a calf or maybe some potatoes.
Well, yes, and I guess Well, after they were married, Lloyd said to the minister, "And how much do I owe you?" Well, the minister said, "Whatever you think it's worth." So Lloyd gave him a basket of potatoes.
Wasn't very much.
Well, I wouldn't think so. Maybe the minister didn't either, because he said, "Now, do you guarantee that these are good quality and good eating potatoes?" Well, Lloyd said, "I don't know." He said, "I just took Kathleen for better or worse. You can get potatoes the same way." Oh my goodness, look at the time. I've got to run along. I told Ruby I'd stop and see her, and maybe I'll have a cup of tea with her.
Well, it's awful good to see you, Nancy.
And she'll probably even give me a cookie, long as I don't have to worry about my weight. I'll be able to eat more now. But now, Nellie, you watch that medicine, and don't you overdo it. You be careful, and we'll see you later.
No intention of letting her have any, there wouldn't be any left for me.
Kate is going to sing All Her Heron, accompanied by
You wouldn't go in car with a voice like that. I think that's a very difficult piece to sing.
Next, we have a quartet with Miss Isabel, Darlene Morton, and LaFrance to sing Farewell to Fuel Iron, Cottage where Burns was born.
Pretty cool.